Admiral Zethkar's mandibles clicked in satisfaction as his fleet surrounded the small blue-green planet. The humans had been troublesome, too innovative, too stubborn, too willing to fight when any sensible species would surrender. But now, finally, they were trapped. "Planetary blockade complete, Admiral," reported his tactical officer. "All jump points secured. Their primitive vessels cannot breach our perimeter." The Admiral's multiple eyes focused on the tactical display. 3,000 hegemony vessels formed an impenetrable sphere around Earth. The humans' pathetic fleet of barely 200 ships huddled in orbit, hopelessly outgunned and outnumbered. "Begin the siege," Zethkar ordered. "Starve them out. When they're weak enough, we'll demonstrate our superiority by destroying their military assets from a safe distance." For weeks the siege held. The hegemony intercepted every supply run, every desperate attempt to break through their lines. The human fleet grew smaller as ships fell to targeted strikes. Their communications grew increasingly frantic. Then they went silent. "Admiral," the communications officer chittered nervously, "we're detecting unusual seismic activity on the planet's surface." Zethkar barely glanced up from his reports. Irrelevant. Probably mining operations, desperate attempts to extract resources. But the seismic activity intensified. Massive structures began rising from the Earth's crust, not built, but grown, as if the planet itself was awakening. Crystalline formations that pulsed with energy emerged from every continent. "Sir, the planet's magnetic field is changing," the sensor operator reported, confusion evident in his voice. The Admiral finally looked up. On the main screen, Earth looked different. Lines of energy crisscrossed its surface like neural pathways. The aurora borealis had spread across the entire planet, painting it in sheets of dancing light. "What are those idiots doing down there?" Zethkar muttered. His answer came as a beam of coherent energy erupted from the planet's surface, striking one of his outer picket ships. The vessel's shields collapsed instantly, its hull vaporizing in seconds. "Impossible," Zethkar breathed. "No planetary defense system has that kind of power." But more beams followed, dozens, then hundreds, lancing out from every continent. Each one perfectly targeted, each one delivering enough energy to destroy a capital ship in a single strike. The hegemony fleet scattered, their formation breaking as vessel after vessel disappeared in brilliant flashes of light. "How?" Zethkar demanded. "Where is that power coming from?" His science officer's voice trembled. "Sir, according to our readings, they've somehow tapped directly into the planet's core. But more than that, they've turned the entire planetary magnetic field into a focusing array. The whole planet is functioning as a single massive weapon." The communications array crackled to life and a human voice filled the bridge, calm, almost conversational. "This is General Sarah Chen of Earth Defense Command. For 6 months you've had us under siege thinking we were trapped rats in a cage. You were wrong about one thing, we weren't the rats." Another wave of energy beams swept through the hegemony fleet. Zethkar watched in horror as his dreadnoughts, vessels that had conquered a dozen star systems, died like insects in a flame. "You see," the human continued, "humans have a particular talent. When we're backed into a corner, when survival is on the line, we don't just fight harder, we innovate. We become something new." The Admiral's tactical display showed the impossible. Truth. His 3,000-ship fleet was down to fewer than 800, and the casualties were mounting exponentially. While you were out there congratulating yourselves on your superior numbers, we were down here doing what humans do best, turning physics into weaponry. Every earthquake you dismissed, we were installing planetary-scale graviton manipulators. Every magnetic anomaly, neural pathways linking every power grid, every reactor, every scrap of energy on the planet into one system. Zethkar's ship shuddered as a near miss superheated their hull. "Full retreat," he ordered desperately. "Oh no," came the human's voice, now tinged with dark amusement. "You wanted to make an example of us, remember? Well, consider this a lesson for the rest of the hegemony." The planet's energy output increased impossibly. Earth had become a star, projecting destruction across hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Escape pods launched from dying hegemony ships, their occupants preferring the mercy of vacuum to the certainty of vaporization. Zethkar's flagship was among the last to die. As the final energy beam struck his vessel, he understood the terrible truth the hegemony would learn too late. They hadn't trapped humanity on Earth. They had trapped themselves in orbit around a weapon of unprecedented scale. The last thing he saw before his ship exploded was Earth itself. No longer a blue-green world, but a brilliant sphere of controlled fusion and magnetic fury. The humans hadn't just survived the siege, they had evolved beyond it, turning their entire planet into an instrument of war. In the depths of space, the few surviving escape pods carried word back to the hegemony. Humanity was no longer just another species to be conquered, they were something else entirely. Something that could turn worlds into weapons when pressed to the edge. The siege of Earth was over. The age of human expansion had begun. And across the galaxy, other species would learn what the hegemony, discovered too late, never corner a human. They don't just fight back, they rewrite the rules of engagement entirely.